Hey everyone, what's up and welcome to today's video. Now, what we're going to do for today is we're going to run through a little bit of a challenge basically and a little bit of a discussion to go on with for today. But before we go any further, let's start by rolling the intro. Okay, now welcome back, and for today what we're going to be talking about is challenges in photography. Now we're not just saying about like any difficulties that you would have or the challenge itself of learning how to take better photos, but we're actually going to go into different challenges you can do yourselves to try and improve your skill set when it comes to photography. Now one of the challenges that I did recently, which is kind of prompted by the weather situation that we had in England, was actually taking some photos out in the snow, which was actually quite enjoyable. And for that we decided to take like a little bit of an impromptu route and decided to just literally tie myself down to taking 3 pieces of equipment with me on the little trip around town. Now those were the Canon 80D, a lens ball and the 50mm prime. Now obviously when it comes to limiting yourself to only having a little range of gear, actually makes you push yourself into trying different things. Mainly instead of trying to change it using the different lenses to try and create a better image or have a different depth of field or anything like that, it's really pushing your approach to try and get some creative shots that are technically quite challenging as well sometimes to take, and also try to find a little bit more of a creative, unique approach to taking the photos. Now this will also be including things like considering different types of compositions, either using rules of thirds or the spiral technique, or simply just using like the leading lines that you can find in photos as well. So with this in mind, I decided to just take the gear and then go around and have a little look, and I only spent about an hour or so outside due to the lack of light that we had afterwards. And these are some of the results that we had. Now with the photos that you can see on screen now, you can definitely see what I was hopefully trying to portray when it comes to experimenting with the photos itself. Trying to get a nice sharp image along with enough character of what was going in the actual moment, especially when it comes to showing people's journey through the snow, etc. As well as trying to actually experiment with ways to tell a kind of a better image, use the lens ball and the 50mm prime as well. The benefit of using the 50mm prime that I noticed was how fast it is. Now obviously with a prime lens and it's got a fixed aperture, it will work a lot faster than say the 18-55mm that I'm currently filming on, as it's a zoom lens rather than a prime lens. However, the thing that is actually really useful about that is it gives you a lot of rapid response when it comes to experimenting with different things. The manual focus on it was really quite enjoyable and very good to use, as well as experimenting with the aperture itself, so you can have nice depths of field, you can have what we refer to as very blurry backgrounds to create like a nice bokeh effect or anything like that. And it was really fun actually just taking a few minutes out of your day to try and experiment with taking some better photos and having a little bit more fun with the photography itself. Now a lot of the time when it comes to photography, a lot of people do get quite bored with how mundane and monotonous it can be sometimes, because not every single photo will be taken on this vast photo studio with amazing personnel to take photos of or anything like that. You're not working with the best vehicles, you're not working with jewellery companies or anything like that. You might do, which is great for you, but not everybody does have that same opportunity. And it gets very boring and very repetitive sometimes if you don't challenge yourself. So the best thing to do actually is just to take some time out of your day, focus on you, and actually take it out and have a little bit of fun when it comes to doing the things you love, which in all honesty will give you a little bit more of a motivation towards trying to do better photos and try to get better work overall produced. Now I did a similar challenge actually before when it came to going to Poland last year, which was a really enjoyable experience for me, especially getting to see some beautiful landscapes, especially around Limanova, Krakow and Zakopane as well, which if you go in there or have ever been there, then you'll know exactly what I mean by how beautiful it actually is, especially when you go around Morskie Oko for the mountain range. It is spectacular, especially if you're into nature and landscape photos as well. Now, one of the things that you can see in this photos is I did the exact same challenge as I did in the snow, except all I was simply taking was a few batteries extra to go with this Canon 80D and the 50mm prime 1.8. Now, the thing is with having a fixed lens is the fact that you are pushed to try and experiment with how it's actually used and how you use that lens to try and create something brilliant in your photo, or even just try to take a little bit more of an interesting shot that you might not have been able to do on a different setup that you have for the camera. But it also pushes you to try and think to yourself, rather than limiting yourself to I must photograph a specific type of topic or area. If you've only got one part of your camera to use in one setup and you've got to use it for everything, how do you use it in a way to still end up with the best results? And that's where I ended up coming out to producing some of the photos I actually really like the most, and push myself to try things that I'd never done before. Like, I'd never done a form of landscape photography essentially before. I'd always been very more portrait based or architectural shots rather than nature aspect. And overall it was a very steep learning curve to try and maximize your time using the camera, effectively using it, and creating better work overall. Now obviously this is just one of the challenges you can do with only using one lens. You can also do it so that you do it with, like say with a film camera, you only have a certain amount of shots that you can use. So you've got to maximise every opportunity you can to use that shot. Everyone's got different opportunities, but the most important thing to learn from this is the fact that it is good and very beneficial to always challenge yourself to try and create better work and try to learn a better set of skill sets, but also most fundamentally just to have fun with what you're doing. And that's the most important thing that I had from it, is the fact that I actually managed to have a little bit of time out to do something that was really enjoyable and quite beneficial as well. Now hopefully you like the photos that have been taken and you like the style of work that we are producing. And obviously the other thing that we want to let you know about is to basically, if you like any more of this work, then please like, subscribe, let us know any opinions you have in the comment section down below, and stay with this channel and see how this grows into further videos and further work in the near future. Now I would recommend staying tuned for Friday's video, as we are going to be going through some film news as well as going into different aspects as well. You might get some film reviews about some things we're going to be seeing soon, as well as some of my opinions when it comes to some of the things that are going on in the film landscape, especially with the Oscars coming out soon, with the nominations being released already, which is quite a big turning point actually. And there's a lot of different opinions and discussions with going on in that aspect of film alone, which is going to be a lot of fun to kind of delve into and just hear your opinions about it as well. Now, if that's something that you like, then please look forward to seeing us on Friday at 1 o'clock to see the next video. Check out any of our previous content that we have produced, and we'll look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.